So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Hopefully, it's not in the middle of the night. Welcome to our regular Thursday trainings, advanced trainings with me, Petra, and where we kind of discover things a bit differently. Hope I'm not giving you too many, boring information. If it is, please let me know because I want to change that. I want you to be excited about things, learning new things, and really implementing that into your life. Tonight, I am really, 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 really excited. We are going to dive deep and deeper than deeper than we had before with the Power of Three. We have a Power of Three protocol, which is completely new, yeah, and it's completely directly from Healy Corporate. So you're gonna get a beautiful shareable gift tonight, so you can actually start using that protocol. For those of you who have been using Power Free before, there was a protocol at the beginning. There was a nine-week protocol, which was quite simple, literally using 3 days out of the week, and on all those days, just one program out of the three groups. And that went on for each group, and we're going to go through that so you can see how that works. But it went on for 3 weeks per group programs, yeah? So the protocol that I've been really, really pushing for with Healy is to actually have something deeper. So something that actually you can use if you've been using frequencies for a while, yeah? Because we're going to talk about why is that important with Power of Three, and why, if you haven't used Power of Three before as a protocol, to not go as deep. So because it is a really powerful detoxification protocol, and we're going to look at each group of the Power of Three, because there are three groups, the Power of Three, today. So don't worry, you don't need to do any screenshots of anything, because you get all of what I have today in your shareable link that I'll post at the end, so you're not distracted, yeah, because otherwise you won't hear anything I'm saying. So I'll pop that at the end, and it will be available in the group, and it's going to be sent out through the emails as well. So you're not going to miss out on anything. But before we start, and of course today I have two beautiful people with me today that will be sharing their testimonial of Power of Free program and how that affected their own life and their own being. So I have beautiful Maria Louise from Germany joining us today, as well as Jeffrey from Tasmania. So both of them will be sharing their own experiences, yeah? And I really wanted to give you two different experiences because I really wanted to show you that frequency, as anything else in the body, is so individual, yeah? And your body will respond differently to different programs than, for example, my body or someone else's body. And it's really important to learn how to listen to your own body. That's what I've been kind of pounding on the door for a while now. And it's really important to keep going and be persistent with your programs and your frequencies, because sometimes it takes a while before the body has a shift, yeah? And sometimes we think nothing's happening, but our body's actually working at the back, yeah? So we're not really understanding what's going on, but the shift happens after a while. So it's like, drilling for water, yeah? You can drill, and nothing comes out, but then you strike gold and you have a waterfall or a geyser, yeah? Whatever that is. Bavaria, perfect. Hi, Marie-Louise. Are you in Bavaria? Oh, perfect. Okay. You are more than welcome to come. I love being a part of the community. And if you, I wanted to say this out loud here. If you have a beautiful testimonial with any of the programs that we haven't done yet, or group of programs that we haven't done yet, please connect with me. I would love you to be a part of, whatever we are doing in the future, because we'll have different programs and different protocols coming up as well. And I would love to hear from you, because these trainings are about you and for you. So if you have testimonials that you would like to share, I would love to hear them. If you have the knowledge on certain things that you would like to share in this community about the Healy programs. And you are working as a therapist and using of those programs, and you feel like you have things that you want to share, connect with me, please. Just send me a message. I would love you to be a part of this, because this is a community and I want to hear from you. So it's not just me talking, because I don't know you. Yeah, I just see faces, but I don't know you, but I would love to get to know you. So, okay, so let's dive deep because we have a lot today. So I'm just going to share my screen. Oh no, that's not the one I wanted. Sorry, the wrong screen. Here you go. Now you can see it. Just let me know if you can see the slides. Give me thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, so you can see the slides. Awesome. I'm just gonna pop these at the top so I can actually see you. Okie dokie. Hopefully this works. Okay, power of 3. Let's do this. Okay, as every Thursday, we know that Healy devices and Mac Healy devices are not meant to either diagnose, cure, treat, mitigate, or prevent any disease or medical conditions. Yeah, these are beautiful tools to support you on your journey of healing and transformation on all levels, but they are not medical diagnosing devices. Yeah, and they will never heal and cure because your body has that ability. I'll just say that. So yeah, the devices don't do any of the magic stuff that sometimes we want them to do. But they're amazing devices that can transform a lot of things in your life. Okay, so that's over and done with. So my question to you before I dive in is, have you used the Power of 3 programs individually or the protocol? Yeah. If you have any of those, pop in the chat. Yeah, yes or no. And I would love to see how many of you are actually using the Power of 3 programs, because I know a lot of you don't have the professional, because Power of 3 programs are only available on professional edition. And if you don't have a professional edition, this month, as you know, we have a beautiful, 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 amazing promotion that you can actually get a free upgrade to professional. Even if you have a gold, yeah, if you enroll one person with Healy Resonance or above, you can actually get a free upgrade to professional. How fun is that? Like, seriously. And you get all the digital nutrition, bioenergetic vitalization, which I love. Okay, that's just me. I'm just excited. I can't live without a professional. Okay, let me see. Yes, yes, no. Okay. No, okay. 3 times protocol, yes. No, so if needed, yeah. Yeah, rebalance nearly every weekend. Perfect. I love that. Yes, yes, yes. No. Okay, a lot of you are using it. Cool. Protocol. Perfect. So a lot of you are using programs individually, I see, but obviously not as a protocol. So I would say the Power of 3 is amazing. I tend to use a lot of programs out of Power of 3, especially the classical energetic or classical physical, and I'm going to touch on that why. And if you saw in my previous trainings, I've listed them, including together with bioenergetic vitalization, in a lot of my protocols and a lot of list of programs to support the nervous system. Yeah. Not only the nervous system, because there's a connection between the brain, the heart, and the gut. Yeah. So the Power of 3 kind of, this is not exactly, but kind of connects all of 3 elements. Yeah. Because what happens in the gut happens in your brain and also on your emotional level, in your moods. Yeah. So it's really important, and your mental health as well. So it's really important to understand that these 3 program groups are actually helping you not only on a physical level, but they will help you balance and rebalance things within the body. Honestly, on all levels. It's like a encompassing package, yeah, that actually balances the systems of all levels. So for me, when I feel stressed or overwhelmed, when I have a lot of things on my plate, and lately that's a lot, and when I'm like 2 weeks in bed and things get kind of left behind, when I actually have to put a lot, on my plate throughout the day, I really love running the Power of Three together with bioenergetic vitalization. And those are my go-to kind of programs to actually help me rebalance my nervous system, to actually calm down the farm in my head and my body. And I actually feel instant relief. So that's me, my experience, but I would love to hear what your experiences are in the chat while I'm going through the protocol. Power of Three is available in resin. Oh, it is? Oh, yeah, that's true. They've changed it now. In the past, there wasn't. When it actually came out, that's true. When it came out, we only had it on professional, but now it's only on Resonance Plus as well. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, in other countries, no. Oh, you mean the Power of Three in other countries is not in Resonance Plus? That's interesting. I didn't know that. I know it's in the professional for sure, but I know that now that the editions changed, I think in Australia it's also in the Resonance Plus. You're correct, but in other countries I'm not sure. So you have to check with your countries. Okay, so let's look at that. So the Power of Three are actually a group of programs. Yeah, there's three groups of programs. They've been actually created to support us in the time of change. So when we are in the shift and transition, yeah, when we call it change, that means internally or externally, right? So meaning that things are changing for you, for example, you're shifting, personal growth, yeah, so you're shifting perceptions, beliefs, emotional state, you're releasing emotions that are old, and you're replacing them with new. And externally as well, you're moving countries, you're moving home, your kids are growing up and they're leaving home, or you're getting a new baby, or things are changing in the relationship, so there's, or you're changing jobs, so there's so many things that can go under the umbrella of change. So it's really important, and normally change happens all the time because it's the only constant in life. And sometimes our perception, which is our ego mind, which is kind of the part of us that wants to protect us, and the part of the brain that doesn't want change, that want things to stay the same, is kind of fighting, yeah? And when it's fighting, there's stress that happens within the body. And it's really important to understand that we can be affected by so many things in life. And to bring us actually back to balance, the Power of Three programs actually affect or rebalance us on three distinct levels. They actually help us to bring the body and the mind connection, both of them, yeah, as well as the energetics of it, back into alignment, which is really important. So, for example, there's a beautiful program in there, and we're going to touch on that. It's conflict balance, and I'm using it for that. So I want to hear why you are using it, and I'll share a bit more what it's meant to do. But I use it a lot when I feel indecisive, or I have too many things that I want to choose, and I feel in conflict with myself. I don't know what to choose. So I normally run that program, the conflict balance, and my mind literally clears up. And I can actually feel what is the right step for me moving forward. So that's the program I use, and this is how I use it. I also use it normally if I'm conflicted. If I, for example, because I feel energies and all of that, my intuition is saying something, and if I'm in conflict with someone and the reality of that person communicating with me is saying something else, sometimes, I'm still learning as well to trust my intuition 100%. I run that program in order to actually get clarity. So that's something that Power of Three, and we'll look at other things as well that are actually influencing the body and how they are influencing it. It is based on ancient system of three natural energetic forces, which are expressed in the bioenergy of Ayurveda. So it's literally digital Ayurveda, but it's in three different levels and layers, and it actually encompasses our entire self. So let's look at three groups. So let's also look at first before we go into the groups. So when we are looking at the time of change and transition, what really happens within the body when we're talking about, the programs balancing the bioenergetic field. What that means is everything within us, so our organs, our cells, there are microorganisms within the body as well as on the skin. Each and every one of those organisms has a bioenergetic field that encompasses into a one big bioenergetic field of our physical body. And then we also have our bioenergetic field and etheric and energetic field, which is the 12 layers of aura, that is it's literally our like a bubble. Yeah. So that can be influenced by so many different things. And when that is influenced either from the environment outside or from the internal environment, it's like water. Yeah. So it leaves ripples and it becomes really, like, if it's too agitated, it becomes unstable. And sometimes when there's a big force from the outside or from the inside, it feels like trauma. It's like shock. So that actually leaves scars and trauma on your energetic field as well, bioenergetic field. So causes of your bioenergetic field to be affected by outside or inside can be, for example, your thought patterns. Yeah, your perception of the world around you actually defines how you respond to it. So if you perceive a certain situation as an attack, your body and your nervous system will respond in attack. So that means that your bioenergetic field will also be responding in that way. And feeling attacked, meaning not safe, is actually a trauma for your energetic field and for the bioenergetic field of every single organism within your body, because they're coherent, right? So they communicate with each other and influence each other. So thought patterns, suppressed emotions. Yeah. So if they're not being released, or when you are releasing them, they will still they will have a minor effect on your energetic field. Physical environment. For example, if you have a high toxic relationship or a lot of drama in your life, yeah, a lot of stress, there's not enough clear or open communication, there's not enough feelings of safety, yeah, in your physical environment. Also physical environment, like in big cities, yeah, when you live in big cities, there's so many different elements of energetic fields around you that are influencing your own bioenergetic field. And the longer you are exposed to them, especially if they're agitated frequencies, it's like trauma to your energy. Yeah. So that can cause, for you to sleep not well, and eventually can cause also the rupture of your field. You might not see it that way, but that's what really happens. You start leaking energy, yeah, because your field is not strong enough, and that affects eventually your physical body. Of course, stress, feelings, as we said, of attack, and also crossing your boundary. So if you don't, because your energetic field is actually your boundary, yeah, your boundary in the environment. We have physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, energetic boundaries, and if you allow people to cross your boundaries, yeah, because nobody can cross your boundary if you don't actually allow it, yeah. So, and sometimes in extreme cases, yeah, of abuse, we need to allow it in order for not to actually get hurt too much, yeah. So we kind of compromise, but that means that the boundary was crossed. So when the boundary is crossed, that it's trauma to the energetic field, not only to the physical body, but to the energetic field. So like we said before, drama effect, reliving old traumatic memories. So if you are holding on to old memories and reliving it again and again and again, telling a story again and again and again, you are literally re-traumatizing not only your energetic field, but also your physical body. Yeah, so it's really important to mind your vibration and actually let go of things that are not serving you. Negative approaches, for example, if you're always complaining, or if you see only things that are negative in the world, yeah, you're not looking for solutions and things to be grateful for, you're actually diminishing your energetic field. You're opening up, you exposing yourself to leakage, yeah? And that also affects your bioenergetic field of your entire system. As I said, with beliefs, yeah, and then conflicts, and also smart technology. So, for example, oh, somebody's drawing on my screen. Can you please not do that? Let me see if I can actually stop that. I don't even know if I can actually stop that. How do I do that? Because I feel like, no, I can't actually do this from here. I will have to see that in the settings. Okay. Thank you for the beautiful colors, but it's not really good to draw on my screen. Okay, so that can affect your bioenergetic field. So when we have that, and that's normal in their everyday life, yeah? So when it's normal in the everyday life, we need to find ways to kind of come back to balance. So without Healy, you have options, but they're limited. Sometimes you can't actually use them, especially in this busy today world, yeah? Of course, grounding is one of them things, yeah? Going into nature, breath work, movement, yeah, meditation, all of those things will help you regenerate your energetic field. But in order to actually move things faster, frequency is a most beautiful way for you to actually regenerate your body and your energy and your bioenergetic field faster. So how do we do that with Power of Three? There are three groups: bioenergetic rebalance, universal frequencies, and digital Ayurveda. So with bioenergetic rebalance, these programs are actually designed to rebalance your energy field after a bioenergetic event. For example, like we said, anything that affects your bioenergetic field from the inside or from the outside. So can be, anything that negatively affects you, and challenges your bioenergetic field. So this is not only energetic or emotional causes. It can be, different disturbances in your energetic field, but also physical events. For example, like physical accident, like car accident, or falling down the stairs. Loud sounds, yeah, that because it's frequency and vibration, it can actually vibrate your field as well. Foreign particles in your body, yeah, so anything that we put into our body, things that are not natural to our body, and of course physical assaults, yeah, so those can definitely damage your energetic fields. So these programs, so all of these programs, which are the bottom four ones, and we're going to look at that later, are actually programs to harmonize the underlying energetic conflicts, yeah, the energetic defense mechanisms and the bioenergetic ambience that builds the energetic foundation of our intestinal flora, which influences our physical energetic balance. So first of all, we are balancing and harmonizing the underlying energetic conflicts, things that are in conflict either from the environment and ourselves, within ourselves, yeah, or just like pushing on our energetic field. And then we are actually protecting ourselves through the defense mechanisms, and we're going to look at the defense programs and what they are, and also bioenergetic ambience, so the environment of our body within ourselves to literally be stronger, yeah. Those are defense programs. So then we have the universal frequencies. These are program groups that combine classical frequencies, which are Rife frequencies. I don't know if you ever heard of it. RRR, forgot his first name. Raymond Rife. There was another, I think it's Ray Raymond Rife, I think it is. So he was the first scientist that actually found, yeah, these frequencies naturally occurring in the world. So everything in the world has a frequency, and he found specific frequencies that are for the physical part, for the energetic part of our environment. And Healy combined those basic classic frequencies as defined by previous pioneers like Rife, And it combined them with frequency analyzed in the information field, so the IMF currents and IMF frequencies. And these sets of programs can be actually applied to harmonize bioenergetic field when it is negatively influencing your well-being. So now we are going onto the physical level. Yeah, we are first removing all the conflict. We are supporting our physical defense, so creating boundaries in order for the body to heal, and we are rebalancing the systems. And then we are moving into the universal frequencies, which are literally classical frequencies that exist for every single microorganism on a physical level as well as on an energetic level. So we are literally taking a look at your well-being of the body holistically. And then we're moving into digital Ayurveda. So this is actually based on the Asian system of the three natural energetic forces expressed in the I'm so sorry, because there's a lot of people probably that know more than I do here. Tridoshas. I think that's how it's pronounced. If I didn't pronounce it properly, please let me know. It's within the Ayurvedic system, which is thousands of years old. And these programs are meant to rebalance each of the doshas that are out of balance and bring harmony back into the body. So these programs, it doesn't really matter because we all have all three doshas in the body. Some are dominant, some are less dominant, but these frequencies actually balance exactly what your body needs. And remember, Healy is amazing at sending frequencies. No matter what program you use, it's only going to send the frequencies that your body needs. You're not going to receive any of the frequencies that you don't need, because remember, we have the resonance sensor, which is the quantum sensor, which connects with your body every 20 seconds, checking in if you do need that frequency or not. So whatever program you're going to run, it really doesn't matter because you're going to receive only the frequencies that you need. And all of that information, because we are working on a holistic principle here with the power of three, what is really, really beautiful is that we are now sending information to the body in order to regenerate in a right way. And recently I've been diving into epigenetics a bit more. And I love that, science is now proving how our genes, the expression of it is not only influenced by, our hereditary lines, but it's actually influenced by the environment, in the state of that we are in. And it's really interesting to understand that our body creates, I think it's, don't pull me on that one, but I think it's something like 800,000 cells per second. Yeah. And there are different types of cells in the body. And if, there's only 3% that it's hereditary and gene related, and everything else is turned on and off by environment. If we are sending the right information to those cells to actually be in harmony, they will be regenerating and creating within harmony. But if you've been under stress for so long, and if you're actually producing 800,000 cells per second, those cells are now produced in the stress environment, and they will respond based to the environment they are in. So if we want to heal, we need to change not only the environment, but also signals to the cells in order to shift the gear to actually create a different cell based on the environment that it's in. So these are the three foundations of the power of three. So let's look at what each group of programs is. So these are the descriptions of the programs. You're going to get this, so don't stress. I'm going to give you the link. But you can read through it. So the first is the bioenergetic rebalance. Yeah, and we have the programs of conflict balance, defense support, friendly flora, and rebalance. And then we have the second group of programs, which is universal frequencies. And we have the classical physical, the classical energetic, and the Zeppa protocol. We're going to look at that as well. And then the last one is the digital Ayurveda, which is balancing all forms of expression of your body holistically, which are the elements of, ether, water, fire, air, and Earth, yeah? So, which is literally balancing all the energies within the body. So, and the protocol actually includes all of that, and I'm going to show you the protocol. So, let's look at the conflict balance. Yes, we can say conflict balance is what we have in conflict, but let's look at conflict in a different way. So, conflict can be physical conflict, it can be internal, mental, emotional conflict. It can also be not resolved conflict. For example, you had a conflict in the past with a family member or a friend and has never been resolved. So when we have a conflict, there's always either an energy exchange, yeah, or if the energy is not expressed, if something was not expressed, this conflict was not resolved, so the energy did not balance, so it needed to go somewhere. So normally it goes to the lower frequency of the body, of the two in conflict. So if I am the one in contraction, meaning that my frequency is lower than the frequency of the other person that we are in conflict with, I will actually absorb that energy and I will store it in the body. So if the conflict is not resolved, I now carry this energy within the body. So what happens is you might not hear from that friend or family member, but the frequency of that still resides within your body. Yeah. And it influences every single organ within your body. You might forget about it, but you are literally living out of that frequency and creating the environment around you through that frequency unconsciously. Yeah. So that's something that actually can be supported with the conflict balance program, so you can actually start balancing that within the body. And then we have inner conflict, which is our ideas and beliefs actually don't match the reality that we're in. Yeah. So this is where we need actually acceptance. So sometimes we feel like we don't have the reality that we want, and we have this idea of something, but we don't have it on a physical level. Yeah. So we are literally on two different sides of a coin. So in order to actually bring all of that together and actually resolve this mess, in order for us to see the reality that we want and create it, we need to actually shift the frequency within ourselves. So this program is actually really beautiful. And this feels like in the body can feels like you're stuck. Yeah. Or you're frustrated, or feels like something's not moving. Yeah. Those are really important feelings within the body. So this program is a beautiful one to actually create that shift and also bring more awareness, clarity, and acceptance of what is. Yeah. And then we have the outside conflict. We also have with the outside conflict, we have the tension buildup. Yeah. So if we have energy exchange, there's a tension buildup in order for the energy to resolve itself. And one of the two people that you are in conflict with will either have to balance the energy on their side in order to resolve it. So when we have the tension build up, and normally it's in the body as well as between in the environment, we need to it feels like a force to your energetic field. It's like a push on the bubble. So that actually influences your energetic field. And when you walk away, I don't know if you have that feeling sometimes, if you ever had that feeling, when you are in a conflict, you have an argument either with your spouse or with your kids or whatever, sometimes it gets heated and then you walk away and you feel like you're kind of tired or you're jittery or like you're full of this tension of energy in the body. Yeah. This is literally your energetic field. It's doing this. Yeah. So you need to calm it down. Imagine it to become really smooth. Yeah. Really smooth, like a really nice bubble. Yeah. Clear bubble, smooth bubble. Yeah. No waves on it. Yeah. Because that actually influences your nervous system. So in order to actually balance that after this kind of trauma, which is trauma to the energy, conflict balance is a beautiful program to run. Yeah. So this really puts things into a different perspective. Then we have defense support. So defense, what happens with defense, right? So defense is our first line of protection. Yeah. Be it your skin is your first line of protection. Your energy bubble is the first line of protection. And then, for example, we have our nervous system, which is connected to our emotional well-being, which is the line of defense, which is the first line of protection. So any of those things, and of course we know nervous system influences our bioenergetic bubble. Yeah. So any of those things that are being challenged. For example, you're feeling certain emotions. You might be going through a grief or loss, or you feel, sad. Those emotions are actually influencing your energetic field and your nervous system. So if you're going through any of those things, or if you're going through, I don't know, physical body is fighting something, this is a beautiful program to run because it actually balances not only the cells and microorganism bioenergetic field, but also your entire field holistically. So this is a really beautiful way to connect your body back to alignment. And then friendly flora. Friendly flora is focused on the gut. Yeah, so this is specifically designed for the gut. Why? So why are we putting all of this holistic stuff and then just put gut in? Yeah, we're going to take a look at the gut next week, which I'm really excited. But in here, what we're doing is we need to understand that microbiome or the gut flora or friendly flora these are your friends in the body, but they're literally a society. They're a huge society within your body. Not only community, but a society. You have more bacteria on your skin than neurons in your brain. We are literally built out of bacteria and microorganisms. And all of those organisms, they need to function as a society. Yeah. And not only that they need to function as a society, but if they don't function as a society, we get chaos. And that influences not only your physical health and digestive health, but we now know through research that gut health and the microbiome in the gut is linked to our mental health. Depression, anxiety, negative thoughts. So all of that is connected. So if your gut flora is not, working properly, you're probably mentally not as stable as you would like to be. So you might have emotional ups and downs. You might have negative thoughts. You might be more anxious, right? And if you are, that also makes your energetic field unstable. So targeting your gut flora, your friendly flora, makes your nervous system your defense, your line of defense, energetically, physically, emotionally, more stable and resilient, which in turn keeps our energy field and energetic boundaries as well stable and resilient. So if our body within is stable, when you come into a room or if you have a conflict, you might not feel that push as much as you would normally do. Yeah, so you might not be affected as much as you would normally be. So this is a really beautiful program. And then we have the rebalance, which is actually the program that we use in a protocol after every single program that I've just went through right now, because rebalance actually brings, so what we're doing is we are stirring up things that are in chaos, and we are kind of adjusting them. And then we are actually applying rebalance. It's literally saying to the body, okay, now calm yourself down, really calm this system down, calm this system down, calm this system down, so we can come back to kind of alignment to see what's out of balance and moving forward. So it's kind of checking in with the body, aligning it where it needs to be, so we're not always just moving and shifting and working. So in the protocol that I'll show you later, it's actually beautifully designed in order for you to shift, move, change, cleanse, and then rebalance. And again, shift, change, move, cleanse, rebalance. So it's literally balancing your body every step of the way. Then we have the second group of programs, which is the universal frequencies. We have the classical physical, classical energetic, and Zappa protocol. So classical physical is the right frequencies for the physical body. So the classical frequencies, which you call right frequencies, combined with the IMF frequencies of the physical body that Healy also created, combined into classical physical program. The same happens with the classical energetic. So what does that mean? It means that it actually looks at the whole entire system on a physical level, looks at what microorganisms, what bioenergetic fields of any bacteria, viruses, microorganisms in the body are out of balance. And it actually sends information back in order to rebalance them into the aligned and balanced state. Yeah. The classical energetic is beautiful because it works on an energetic field, not only the microorganism energetic field, but also your energetic field, which in turn, of course, focuses and applies to your nervous system as well, which is really important. So if you feel anxious, or if you feel like you kind of agitated, this program is beautiful. Like for me, tell me how you feel, but I feel a change after 15 minutes. Honestly, if I'm anxious, I put this one on and I'm like, calm in 15 minutes. So it's about 40, I think it's 45, 44 or 45 minutes long. Oh, what does it say? 44. So it's 44 minutes long. So it gives you the length of programs here as well. And then we have the Zappa protocol. So we are looking at the energetic, the mind, body, soul connections, the physical, the energetic. So everything's combining together. And then we have the Zappa protocol. Someone would ask me, what Zappa? So zap, 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 zap. Yeah. So what we are doing in Ayurvedic approach, Zappa or Zappa protocol, it's actually a frequency that is a protocol in itself that actually applies to your viruses, bacteria, micro pathogens, and microorganisms, as well as the parasites in your body. Yeah. And what it does, it has, so if you can see, it has a protocol of 7, 27, 27. So it has 3 rounds of 7 minutes by a pause of 20 minutes. So this is actually created into a protocol of 79 minutes. And what it does in the first 7 minutes, it's helping you to remove the parasites outer membrane. So parasites are parasites for a reason, and it's really hard to kill them even naturally. Yeah, you need to really trick them with herbs and stuff in order to actually get them out of the body. Yeah. So what this does is actually sends frequencies for 7 minutes to actually digest or kind of how do you say that, dissolves the outer membrane of the parasite in your body if you have it. Yeah. And then you have a 20-minute pause because you want that, because you don't want to actually kill everything off right away, because you're going to have a really huge detox. So these animals, when they are microorganisms, when they are killed, yeah, they actually release a toxin. So you don't want it to be done too fast, because otherwise you will go into toxin shock in the body. So this protocol is really important. So it has 7 minutes to dissolve the layers, the outer layer or layers of the parasites and bacteria, a pause. And then the second 7 minutes, it's destroying and removing any harmful pathogens that were actually destroyed in the first cycle. And then we have a 20-minute pause again. And then we are actually, the last 7 minutes, we are removing any other pathogens or viruses or bacteria that are out of balance in the body. Yeah. And we're also released through the protocol itself. So it's literally just cleaning up everything. Yeah. So this is really important, because through this protocol, yeah, and if you really want to clean the parasites, I have extra things that you could do. You really, 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 this is not an option. Yeah, this is really important. You need to hydrate. A lot of water. If you can alkalize your body, even better. So for example, lemon salt water, so you can actually help your liver, help your gut to actually remove that out of your body. Because when these organisms let go and they get dissolved, they leave toxins, and those toxins need to get eliminated out of the body as soon as possible. Yeah, because you don't want that flowing through your bloodstream. Yeah, so it's really important to have that in mind, that these are really powerful frequencies. And if you have any of those things in the body, you can have a healing crisis. So headaches, if it's really intense, you can have a diarrhea. If it's really intense, you can also vomit. You can have a bit of a temperature, so flu-like symptoms. Those things can happen if you have a lot of parasites, a lot of bacteria that's out of balance in the body, especially if you have gut issues. Yeah. So just have in mind that when you do the protocol, if you have a lot of things to clean and a lot of things to heal, you might need to go through the protocol 1, 3, 5, maybe 7 times. I don't know. you need to actually build up and then help your body and your gut heal as well. And we're going to do the gut next week. Okay, and then we have the last one. So I'm going to go through this one to show you. So the Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. Hope I pronounced that correctly. So those are the three groups of elements within the body. Yeah, so Kapha is the water and earth element. And I gave you things here so you can actually see what's out of balance and what's in balance. You can do some extra research online. There's, you know, a lot of you from India are born with this, and you probably know more than I do. But there's quizzes that you can do. There's, you know, research you can do online to understand what is your primary, what two of them are your primary doshas. But it's really important. Sometimes I also feel it doesn't really matter which, you know, dosha is primary for me. Sometimes I use Kapha protocol when I need, for example, more grounding. Yeah, when I actually need more calmness in my body. If I'm going through an emotional shift, I love this program, for example. So I use it in earth, in the elements as well, not just as balancing the doshas that are out of balance. Yeah. And then we have Pitta. I like to use Pitta because it's fire and water. I like to use it, for example, when I'm angry, yeah, or when I feel stuck and I need action, yeah, I need to move myself forward. So I like to run this one as well. So I use it in a different way, not only to balance my digestion, for example, yeah, but I also use it in order to actually move myself forward to action, yeah. And if you need this, I can post in the group if you need to have this as well, what's out of balance and balance. And then we have the Vata, which is the air and ether. Yeah. So ether is the energy around us. Yeah. And it is the higher, not the higher mind, but the higher self of the higher self of who we are. And this is the connection as well. So I feel like I use Vata when I actually, if I'm overthinking, yeah, or if I'm lacking connection, if I've been too much in my body, and if I'm lacking connection, I actually like to use this program as well. So this is my approach, not at all the only, yeah, but these are the out of balance and balance for these. But in the protocol, you're going to run all of them anyway, because you're going to get the frequencies that you need for the body, so you can balance all elements within the body at the end of the protocol. Okay, so this is the Ayurveda. It is literally balancing the elements together. It is the balance of the body on all levels. And it's important to understand that anything that pushes us out of balance, we have an option to bring ourselves back. So, protocol. So before we go into protocol, please prepare. As I said with every protocol before, make sure that you have your foundations met, yeah, and you prepare yourself. Hydration is a must, especially through this protocol or any detoxification protocol, because you need to get things out of the body. Electricity can't be properly transferred if your cells are not hydrated properly, yeah, and you're only going to retain water in your body if you don't have enough minerals. So either you add Celtic salt, yeah, or you add sea moss, or anything that you feel, or trace minerals, anything that you feel that will, you know, enhance the absorption of the water in your body. It's really important, because otherwise the information is not transferred properly. Breath, it is free. And it is so important because it moves not only your lymph, which is the toxins, it moves your energy through the body, it calms down your nervous system, it helps your body detox faster. I don't know if you know, but we actually detox weight through our breath. Yeah. So it's really important to actually understand, you know, whatever we do, any detoxification, weight loss actually happens through breath. And when we breathe and exercise, the chemicals actually get digested. So breathing, if you don't know how to breathe properly, that's fine, do some research. But deep breathing and deep into the belly. Otherwise, I love to use either box breathing, so 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 as a box. Yeah, so 4 inhale, hold 4, 4 exhale, hold 4. or 4-8 is my favorite. So inhaling for 4, no hold, and exhaling for 8. This one really lowers your cortisol level, and it actually helps you move the air. So the longer the exhale, the lower your cortisol, the more calmer your nervous system will be. And it actually helps you exhale more toxins and move the lymph and the blood and the energy through the body. Grounding. So when you're doing any protocols long term, make sure you are grounding, because especially when it's a detoxification protocol, we apply frequencies, so we apply current, electricity, but in order to have a shift in the body, we need to discharge. So anything that's not working, anything that's out of balance, the energy that's actually tense and not energized anymore, we need to literally discharge. So either get out in nature, go walking barefoot. If you're in winter, I get it, it's cold, but go to water, like just go swimming, sauna, and then do cold plunges. Like that's a really good thing to actually discharge your energy. Swimming in the ocean, salt water, like ocean is the best because it actually gives you negative ions. Yeah. And then sand, earth, whatever you can. Yeah. But if you can't, then get yourself a grounding device. Yeah. Either a mat or a sheet or whatever you have that you can actually allow yourself to discharge properly. Movement. If you don't move your body, you are literally just applying frequency. You're going to be anxious. You need to move the energy out of your body. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be just walking. Yeah. You need to move the toxins because you're going to actually do a lot of detox through this protocol. So you need to move the toxins. You need to move the lymph, which moves the toxins, to actually get it into the gut and get that out of the gut. Yeah. Fill your lungs with air. Get out and exercise, because clean air, getting oxygen, actually helps to move the energy in the lymph and the toxins out of the body. And then, of course, either somatic exercises, walking, swimming in the ocean, or any fascia stretches, those will really help you through this protocol, because when you're detoxing, and if you're moving the fascia, you're also detoxing all the motions and things like that, and that will be discharged into the gut. Joy of life. I know when you're detoxing, it's kind of hard, but gratitude journal. Find something to be joyful for, something to be grateful for. And I really encourage you, and I've been talking about this for a long time now, using your perception and really shifting your perception from what we call a victim space or victim mentality, like life is happening to me, everything's happening to me, that person did that to me, I didn't have anything in this. I really encourage you to, and we all have different stages of healing, and there's no judgment on it, but I really encourage you to try to see that everything in life is happening for you. Yeah, not to you, but for you, because everything is a mirror around you. And if you actually start seeing that, anything that you're holding in your body, you can discharge faster. Okay, so the last one is additional support. And this is just if you want to really dive deeper to cleanse your gut and parasites and things like that. We're going to look at things for the gut next week, but if you are wanting to target parasites specifically, you will need to adjust your diet. Yeah, make sure you eliminate any sugar. Yeah, so meaning carbohydrates, processed sugar, fruit, bread, dairy, all of that is sugar feeding your parasites and overgrown bacteria in your gut. And if you really want to move them out, that's something to adjust. Yeah, I understand if you don't want to go there, that's perfectly fine. I'm just giving you options if you want to do extra. And to actually clean some herbs and things that if you want to add them in order to actually help the body to move that out. Diatomaceous earth, yeah, which is literally ground up coral and sediments, yeah, which is high in silica. So it's really important because it's like it needs to be food grade, yeah, but it's really miniature. How do you call it? Sediments that actually, when they go through the gut, they actually slice through the parasites. They won't damage your gut, but they slice through parasites. So it actually helps your body to clean things out. But also because it's high in silica, it actually regenerates your gut and your minerals in the body. Therapeutic grade essential oil of oregano. So oregano is one of the really good ones to actually clean your overgrowth of bacteria or parasites, and olive leaf extract. Just make sure that you actually change them. So if you use olive leaf extract as well as oregano, make sure that you're not using any of them for more than 2 weeks. So if you use 2 weeks first essential oil of oregano, after 2 weeks, you need to stop and start using olive leaf extract. And after 2 weeks, you need to stop and go back to oregano. So, or do something else, yeah? And diatomaceous so that you can do all through around. But because parasites get used to stuff, so you need to really understand to combine frequencies, combine other things to actually help you get rid of them. And also alkalize your body, yeah? Lemon salt water, which is a little filtered water. You can actually use lime and lemon, which is actually better for the liver. It actually also gives you more energy while you are detoxing. So you can do a liter of filtered water, 1 tablespoon of lemon, 1 tablespoon of lime, and a teaspoon of Celtic salt. Yeah, you mix that up, and if you want to, you can drink up to 2 liters of that per day. It actually helps to clean out everything in the gut and alkalize your body and help to detox your body even better. And if you get constipated, which you can get through detoxification, especially when there's a lot of debris coming through the gut, you can do, and I would encourage you to do enemas. So either colonics, if you don't want to do that at home, or you can do just chamomile tea if you want to just be gentle, or coffee enemas. Yeah, so this is a bit more intense. It works on the liver, but it actually helps to get rid of everything out of the body, and actually activates the body to start detoxing. So I would encourage you to, because it also helps to eliminate all the toxins out of the body. Yeah, but I would, if you've never done this before, I would encourage you to go either to do the colonics or to do a chamomile version of enemas at home, so which is really gentle, yeah, to get things out. But I would encourage you to help your body, especially if you get constipated, because the toxins then stay in the body. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the protocol itself. So you will get this, so you don't worry. So you start with the bottom one, so the bioenergetic rebalance first. So what we are actually looking at is, this one is a bit advanced, so you'll have every single day and then a Sunday pause. Yeah, so you're going to start with conflict balance, and then you're going to in the morning, and you're going to do the rebalance in the afternoon, and then literally you do rebalance in the afternoon for the 5 days for week 1, 2, and 3. And then you will do in the morning conflict balance, defense support, friendly flora, and then go back to conflict balance. So literally doing all 3 programs, 1, 2, 3, and then go back 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and in afternoon, always rebalancing back into your state of alignment. Yeah, so this is the first 3 weeks, and then you're going to use the universal frequencies for the next 3 weeks. So for the 4th week, you're going to use the classical physical only for 3 days in a week. If you can't, this is just an example. If you can't do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's fine. You can do Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Yeah. So just make sure that you have a day of a break in between. Yeah. If you are new to this protocol, if you have never done the Power of Three programs before or done the protocol itself before, please do not add any other programs. Yeah, just stick to this 9-week protocol and keep this program simple. If you have done the old Power of Three protocol before and you want to do this one and you actually want to add on programs, you can. Yeah. So for example, anything that will help with your nervous system, your gut health, like bacteria harmony, gastrointestinal harmony, digest all, clean all of those programs you can add on if you have been doing this for a while. Yeah. If not, stick to the basics, because this one is already quite deep. Yeah. So then the 2nd week, so which is the 5th week, will be just the classical energetics. So you're just working on the energetics. And then the last week will be the Zeppa protocol. So this is the detoxification of the parasites, bacteria, and viruses. So it's literally preparation, so your body has enough energy and it balances the physical systems, and then it goes into the full-on detoxification. Yeah. So that's the last week, and then we have the last 3 weeks, which is the digital Ayurveda. So what you're going to do, before we literally had one program, all 3 programs, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah. Now we have actually Kapha Pitta on Monday, and then we have Kapha Pitta on Wednesday and Kapha Pitta on Friday. And then we move from Pitta to Vata for the 8th week, and from Vata to Kapha. So we're literally combining the elements and we're balancing them. Yeah, so we kind of have a transition of energies. So this is the 9-week protocol, and I'm going to share a link now to you. Let me just pop this directly into the group. Meeting group chat. Yep. So I'm just going to stop sharing because we only have questions and sharing things. Oh my goodness, it's 5 past 8. Okay. Let me just get my link. Okay, I'm going to pop this into the chat. It is the same thing that I've literally went through, but it is quite, I'll show you how it looks like. So this is the protocol, and you can just click on it. It's a link, and you can access it at any time. I'm just going to open this one, and I'm going to show you how it looks like. Where are you? Here. Okay. This is how it's going to look like. So all you're going to do, it's like a PDF document. You're going to have the arrow here, and you're going to go forward, and then it's an interactive one. So you're going to have all the description of the programs, and then it's going to show you the first 3 weeks. And if you go, oh, sorry, went too fast. So the first 3 weeks for the protocol itself, you're going to click on the info, and it's going to show you the protocol. And it's the same for next one. So you're going to go to the next 3 programs. You're going to click on the info, and it's going to show you the protocol. Yeah, so you have everything in this document. You can access it at any time. Just save this link, have it open or save it to your browser. And all the protocols and everything is in here, which is phenomenal. Yeah, so you really have everything in place. You don't have to screenshot anything, which is amazing. Yeah, so I've sent this. If you want, I know everybody's been asking me, if you want a recording, it's going to be today's Thursday, hopefully, because it is the marketing team is on holidays with Healy. You can probably next week we're going to have it. You can access it in our group. Yes, it is amazing. I agree. I've been pushing for this one for a while, and I am so happy that we got to this point. And I'm trying to get this for, hopefully, set an intention for me so we can get this through. For the bioenergetic vitalization, I want to get an additional one, a bit deeper one. So hopefully that comes through next month, hopefully. And so we can actually get proper protocols so you can actually go deeper. This is what the protocol itself is. Hopefully this was information enough so you can actually start. But now, before we go into any questions, I know I've been long and it's been a long one, but I really want to bring Jeffrey and Marie-Louise to share their experience. Marie-Louise, would you like to actually, let me see if I can, after a minute. Would you like to please share what have you experienced, how many times you've done the protocol, and what did you love about it?
Yes, thank you. And first of all, I wanted to say thank you. I'm so thrilled because I just did my with my group we are in the 8th week, the power of 3, but I think we were too early because it's a sensation for me, because now I did the power of 3 the 3rd time for myself and last time with my group. But what you just presented, it's going to change. I'm really stunned. You can hear that.
Yeah.
And the first time, I think I did it 3 years ago, but I'm not going to talk about this. But then my life was just everything broke down, and the power of 3 then was very helpful. because I had 3 very close relatives and my partner who died in 3 or 4 weeks, I think 4 weeks. So it was quite a heavy time. And this was the time where I was introduced to the Rebalance program. And you can't imagine how much this helped. You know, it was hard enough, but it's just, yes, it was so helpful. But now I'm talking about the power of 3 now. And what I did not understand at the beginning, 3 years ago, that the power of 3 is not only for the body, but it's for the mind, perhaps much more for the mind because the body follows. But I just have 3 things I experienced because then I had knee problems, and the practitioner was gently hitting about a wheelchair someday. Of course, I didn't like that, and I started my light body process. But still, in the winter, the pain came back sometimes. And when I bought the Healy and did the Power of 3, it was just nearly gone, you know. It was so amazing. And this time we are now in the 8th week and I feel so much more vigorous. And I started to do workouts again because, of course, you, as you said, you explained it so well. You have to move your body. Otherwise, how would you get your toxins out? And you need to drink a lot of water, yes. And this going to the gym and walking, it just did so well. And I think it's not the body now, which is so much better in the 8th week. And my mind is much clearer. At least I think so. I don't know what my friends say. We would have to ask them. And then I did have sleeping issues. I still have some, according to the moon, but it's not heavy anymore. And then I realized, but only now, that I must have had anxiety issues. And I just realized now I don't have them any longer. You know, it's very,
Beautiful.
very exciting for me. And
Yes.
just one thing, and then I'm finished.
No, I love to hear that.
About the digestion. I think that's the gut health. As we all know that, but you know, I always think I eat well, but since I am alone now, I'm not cooking as much as I used to, and I really didn't do it very well with my nourishment. And so this gut health has much improved. And I love the supper protocol and the friendly flora. And this I always did with I think it's called bacterial harmony and the bioenergetic harmony. Don't know how it's called in English. I think it's called.
Yes, it is bacterial harmony. Yes.
And then, of course, depending on how I feel in the days between, because we did the older protocol, I had the fatigue, exhaustion, and I think extreme tension. I'm not sure. Yes, I think it's.
Yeah.
And there was one time I really had, I think it was the 3rd week, and I have a diary because I need to have my gratefulness, my sentences I write in that. And then I looked it up. It was for me like a big insight. Live your emotions, you know, look about yourself, work on your self-knowledge, and look into your own feelings and your needs. And that was, well, a big thing. And as you said, it's a detox. And in my group, there have been backaches, irritations, they've been sweaty, they had a kind of fever, but afterwards, everybody was so much better. And they reported of improved eyesight and their joints was much better functioning. Well, I just, you know, I have to stop now because I'm so in love with it. Sorry.
Yeah, I
You
feel
really
you.
have to stop me full time.
Yeah, so I agree. So this is a really good point that you pointed out. For people that have feelings of anxiety and feel like, you know, they have tension in the body, I love that you've added the programs to help your body to calm down the nervous system together with power of 3. So, you know, exhaustion systematic and, you know, fatigue and, you know, bacterial harmony, anything on the digestive system helps the mental and the emotional as well. And combining the classical physical and classical energetic and the rebalance, it really helps to balance all the systems. And I love how you said, you know, after having such a trauma and traumatic experience in your life, when you were introduced to the rebalance program, which to me energetically completely makes sense, because your energy was completely vibrating, you're not calm, and the rebalance literally smooths that energy, calms things down, and kind of hug you. I feel like it's like a hug,
Yes.
this
Yes.
energetic hug around the body.
Yes. Yes. And you know, now we have the Soul Cycle by Martina Conrad, which
Yeah,
I love so much. I think that's such
me
a
too.
godsend. And what I now discover that if you make it, if you have the coherence program now in the 8th and 9th week, it helps to even manage your organs. It's funny because I always thought
Yes,
coherence is just body and mind, but of course it's body. Yes, I know that.
it's
But
it's
now,
everything.
yes, but now I realize what it really means because I'm so much into my body after this cure.
And another, if you do add on programs and you want to do Soul Cycle together at the end for the rebalancing, I would recommend the what is it in the Soul Cycle, aura?
Yeah, there are many. I just
Aura.
analyzed them. What do I need?
Yeah, you can do that too. Otherwise, aura cleans or aura something. In the Soul Cycle is a beautiful program to add on. Just make sure to not use coherence, but don't use the cosmic growth, because you're in the transition, because cosmic growth actually expands. So you don't want that. You want the coherence, not the cosmic growth. And also aura cleans if you want to do that on a Soul Cycle. And another one, if you do want to add on for the nervous system through this, if you feel like your body's kind of going through a bit of, you know, detox and trauma, pure calm from the deep cycle H is really beautiful to actually add on for the nervous system as well.
Yes. And you know, I turned 70 this year, and this program now, it's just like rejuvenating myself. At least I feel
Yeah.
it like that. So,
Yeah. Well, you're rejuvenating and making your cells younger either way, right? Because you're bringing information in and electricity in, so your
yes,
body's regenerating in a different environment, which is beautiful.
thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Marie-Louise, for sharing this with us. It's amazing how things can happen and shift our things in our reality. Thank you for sharing and coming on tonight. And Jeffrey, would you like to please share your experience? Oh, let me just pop you so you can actually share it. Or a pure. Thank you. I always forget the names.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Jeffrey?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
Perfect.
me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
My experience was a little bit different, probably because I was in an extraordinarily hostile and toxic workplace. And I ran the first one and I went, well, however many weeks it went for, and I went like, yep, nothing. Okay. That was a waste of time. But being a stubborn year male and not wanting to be defeated, I thought, well, I'll do it again just in case I got it wrong. Did it again, like nothing. Okay. Pondered for a while, reflected for a while, and I thought, power of three. Is there a message there that I need to do it a third time? Third time was amazing. It took an extremely hostile, toxic workplace into one that was tolerable, and the three worst offenders in management all left. It was just an amazing change in the whole process.
Yeah, that is amazing. And how did you feel in your body? Did you feel any changes in the body, or did you just see them in the environment?
I was much more relaxed, much more comfortable going into the workplace, knowing it was toxic, and I'm like, yeah, it's okay. You know, like the first manager to leave just walked out the door and no notice, just disappeared.
It literally kicked it out. But that's amazing. I really wanted to bring you both experiences, because we think, right? I don't know, Jeffrey, you work with Healy so much, and I really wanted to share this because Marie-Louise, she had this amazing experience from the beginning, right? And had this revelation where Jeffrey didn't feel anything for the two times. And it's really important to understand that you know, things happen at the back. And sometimes we don't see it or feel it within the body. We can actually see it in the environment. And I say this, you know, people get kicked out energetically because it's true. When we actually shift the frequency within ourselves, people around us don't resonate. So we are kind of this, yeah? So we can't meet each other anymore. And people just leave. It's like people leave out of your relationships or out of your life because you don't resonate with each other anymore and you can't understand each other anymore. And I love your experience, Jeffrey, because it's some people say, oh, but it's nothing physically, right? But it's not about the physical, right? It's about the energetics behind it. And we think only on a physical body. But if you look at both transformations, they're amazing, right? And one is powerful on a physical level and mental and emotional, and the other one had a huge shift on a physical level outside of the body in the environment. And of course, also you being calm, and I love that you say you being calm and not really, you know, being kind of non-attached to the situation in the environment, which to me energetically tells me that your energetic boundaries have strengthened. So you are literally not attaching to anything in the environment. So it's not really bothering you as much. So it's not stressing you as much, which is amazing. Anything else that you've experienced that you want to share?
They eventually paid me a lot of money to go away.
Okay. So you became annoyance in the environment. Okay,
Well,
that's an interesting one.
I was lining up to retire in November, and they paid me a lot of money in September to go early.
How beautiful is that? See, everything balances out when we balance our frequency.
So I'm
And
now
have you
learning.
done the? Sorry.
Well, I'm now learning how to be a trainee retiree.
and maybe not do, or maybe I'd like to call this energetic work, you know, adrenaline sport, because sometimes people get kicked out, so it can be a bit dramatic for people. But you know, I like to have fun with stuff and look at things in a positive way. But I really, really thank you both for sharing this experience, because I know that we have a perception of how a program should work, but we have no idea actually. And we really, because this is a quantum field, and we are literally a small dot in that quantum field, and we literally don't know anything. Even I work with energy for a long time in this lifetime and before, and I have no idea still. Yeah, and I'm still learning so much every single day. And I still, when people say, you know, what about this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I can check, I can do this, I can share my opinion, and I can share my intuition, but I have no idea. Because until we actually ready to learn and be open to experience things instead of experiencing things only through a limited perception of our mind or how it needs to be by our ego, then only then we will have breakthroughs, because we are not limiting ourselves to the physical, because things happen the way they need to happen. Because for Jeffrey, they needed to happen on that level, because that's the situation that needed to be balanced. Yeah, because it influences the environment, including him. And for Marie Louise, it needed to be balanced on her level, because that's what she needed. So it's going to be different for you as well. So make sure that you detach of the perception of how it needs to be, and just start writing a journal, or do a vlog if you want to, or just do it for yourself. But literally track your journey, because you will see how your body is talking to you. You will see the messages, you will see the cries that your body is telling you that it needs support. So in going through this protocol, I really want you to understand, in any protocol with frequency, make sure that you don't expect something needs to be the way it needs to be. Yeah, just observe what really happens in the body, because only then you can be grateful what's happening as a change within your body, because otherwise you won't see it. Yeah, so it's really important to not limit yourself only on a physical level. When we go, oh, cleaning the parasites, and then the parasites are not clean after one protocol. No, I had parasites and my gut was so bad. It took me 3 years, and every year I did 2 cleanses of my gut in order to balance it before I did the frequency. Yeah. Now I just add on frequency and balance my gut if I'm under stress. So you need to understand that you can't expect magical cures and magical pills, even with frequencies, and we are, in today's world, all our bodies, 99% of people, yeah, are completely out of balance on a physical, emotional, and energetic, because they all connect. And they live in toxic environments. They have no boundaries. They don't understand who they are. They don't have their core values. They don't understand their needs. So there's so many things that are influencing your life. So I'm really excited for this protocol. I'm maybe thinking, I don't know if you wanted, yeah, sure, Jeffrey.
I just quickly pick up on a point that you almost glossed over earlier about the fact that this process of Healy work changes people. So if you're in a relationship, a long-term relationship, it's really important for both of you to do some self-transformation work. If only one of you do it and the other doesn't, that will put more pressure on your relationship and make your relationship more difficult. So if you can encourage your partner to do some kind of self-development work, whatever that might be, whatever form that might take, it can help to keep your relationship on a much more even keel.
Yes, thank you, Jeffrey. That is a great point, and I agree, because otherwise you create canyons in between. And that's why I always put my on the same protocol that I am. So we can move things forward, because otherwise, I understand the energy world, and I understand how that influences our interaction, and we work with energy, both of us, and we feel things and before they're actually spoken. So I avoid and prevent conflicts by doing this, so we can actually resolve things and prevent things before they actually happen. But this is me, right? So if you're starting and if you have a partner, just both of you go on a power 3 so you can simplify things. But honestly, hope this works. I'm also thinking, if I have enough energy and enough time, I would love to run like a challenge within our Facebook group, to actually do a power of 3 together. So if that's something that you would be interested in, so you can have people you can relate to and share things daily with each other, let me know. I can organize that in our group, and maybe we could do that if that's of interest. But otherwise, hopefully this was valuable for you. I am trying to get the corporate to give us some beautiful protocols like today, because I think they're truly needed for certain program groups that have not been really touched. And they're amazing, and I really wanted to start using them properly and deeply in an advanced way, and really start transforming your life on different levels. But okay, if there's any really, really, really important questions, please raise your hand. If not, the recording will be available in the group and through emails. I will post the link as well for the protocol in the group in the comments of the promotional post. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always ask me in there. I try to be as active as possible in there. But if there's any really urgent questions, yes, the Facebook group, the link, please find it in the chat. I have posted the Facebook group link up here somewhere. But okay, so you love the presentation, you love everything, perfect. I am so grateful that you are loving the things that I'm sharing to you. You would be interested in the challenge. Okay, perfect. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Bien, for reposting the link. You are more than welcome. And next week we are doing the gut. And I have a beautiful friend of mine joining me from London. She is a time waiver practitioner, an engineer, so many things. Like I can't even follow anymore what she's learning. so many things, a nutritionist, a naturopath, a Kundalini yoga practitioner, so many things. And she is connected directly to the Healy Castle in Germany, and literally personal friend with Marcus's wife, Marcus Schmicker's wife. But she has enormous amount of knowledge, and she is equally passionate about gut health as I am. And she's currently finishing a gene course for genes in our body and connecting things in on a frequency level, which is, I'm so excited. She just blows my mind. So we're going to talk about that next week, and we're going to dive deeper a bit into, yes, the Healy programs that you already have prepared, that are in the Healy editions, but we're going to touch on how to actually expand that with the time waiver. So some of you here are time waiver practitioners, so you know what I'm talking about, but I really want you to actually see the other side of Healy as well, where Healy originated from, and what else you actually can do with Healy, which is amazing, right? So you're not just limited to the programs that you have. So yeah, gut health next week. Oh, yeah, sure. Pretty, before I go, you can ask your question. Let me just unmute you. Pretty?
Yes. Hi, Petra. Amazing session. Loved it. We always look forward for your sessions on Thursday.
I'm glad.
It's an amazing session. So thank you so much for that, firstly.
You're welcome.
Second thing regarding the power of three. So this is just an understanding of mine. I'm not sure how far it's true. I would like you to clarify that. So is it how true is it that sometimes when you have a lot of when you said that, kapha, pitta, you're stuck in something, you're not able to take decisions, you have a lot of anxiety, and there's a lot of things which is there deep down, maybe for some other person. Is it possible that since you are not able to express that feelings for the other person, you land up hurting yourself? Or is that something which can
You,
come out on your body and land up hurting? I would just like to wanted clarification
you
on that.
mean, Pretty, you mean like you've taken on someone else's emotion and then you hold that emotion? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes. So when I was talking about the conflict, and for example, if the conflict is not resolved, yeah, there's an energy exchange that happens, but normally we absorb, like when we are in contraction, we absorb the rest of the energy, right? And we
Okay.
hold it within the body. So what happens within the body is that is like a ball of fire, right? It's shaking and vibrating all the time, and it's actually shaking and vibrating within our body. So I'm trying to put tangible things to energy so you can kind of understand what happens in the body, right? So you're not going to see it like in the body, right? So, but
Yes,
it is present like energetically. It's just untangible, right? It's kind of underneath something, yeah? So you might not be aware of it, but it's still in the layers of your body. So what happens is, when we have that vibrating all the time, imagine like on a physical level, if you have a sledgehammer, yeah, always slowly knocking on something, yeah, eventually it's going to create a hole. It's going to erode things, and it's going to crack things, and it's going to influence other organs vibrationally, other organs around it, yeah. So for example, if you have an emotion of anger and it's sitting somewhere in the body, although it's connected to the liver, yeah, through the meridians, but it doesn't need to be in the liver, yeah. But the meridian and the energy of the liver is depleted. So, and if it's sitting somewhere, for example, for women, we tend to do that in the belly and in our uterus, right? So if it's sitting there for a long time, then of course it can shift and change the vibration of other organs around it, meaning that they go out of balance, meaning that they become depleted, meaning that, of course, eventually it will show on a physical level the anger that was never expressed. Yeah. So that also means that sometimes, for example, we can have what we call a truck, yeah, that runs over us, and we have a health issue that comes up. And normally, the health issue can be, for example, I don't know, digestive problems, or reproductive issues, or it doesn't really matter. It can express itself in so many different ways, because it depends on an individual and their own original frequency at the time of this conflict not being resolved. Yeah. So that means simplifying that means that energy absorbed influences the body first on an emotional, energetic level, and eventually long term, it's an ongoing stressor. Yeah, something that really disturbs your body, and it can actually come out and express itself on a physical level as different issues. Yeah, because remember, on a quantum field, everything from energetic, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, everything's connected because it's all energy. Yeah, it's just if it's in an energetic, like we had in the aura, if it's in an energetic space, ether, it's present in the field, but it's not manifested on a physical yet. Yeah, but it is present. So eventually it can manifest if we don't do anything on it. Yeah, that's why scanning with Healy, for example, aura and coaching is really important. Does that answer your question? It's a bit long-winded.
Yeah, it does answer. Just a small one more thing, that can
Yeah.
an outside incident also be interconnected with this? Like suppose incident like accidents and things like that. Can
Of
that be
course.
connected with, yeah, it could? Okay.
Of course, depending on how you experience that incident, right? Remember, because the world around you is a mirror. So, for example, if I have someone in my life, that I'm in an abusive relationship, they're a mirror of I'm not the same as them. I'm just getting an opportunity to set my boundaries or to speak up or to, believe in myself or to raise my self-worth and self-esteem in order to actually set those boundaries. So the environment will actually show you exactly what you need to work on, what is you need to shift, right?
Okay.
Because that's why I love to actually do this work, because when we understand that life is happening for us and through us and as us, everything around us is us in a different form of frequency, right? So it's a mirror of who we are. And if we actually come from the space of compassion and come from space of kindness and start looking at the world around us as a mirror of us, I'm not saying from a egocentric, narcissistic way. I'm saying from a compassionate way of understanding that everyone that is presented in our life is there because we have that frequency within us that we need to shift and change and morph into something else. Yeah, we just need to be a bit of a detective to understand what's really going on.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
That's simply amazing. Great. So the power of 3 will help me in working out on all our the conflicts which we have within ourselves, or the anger, or anything which is suppressed deep within, right?
Can I invite you to let go of the expectations of what will help you with, and just go on a protocol and explore and observe what actually happens? Because then you let go of the expectations, you let go of the labels, and you allow your true self to come out and actually heal the way it needs to heal without you controlling it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because then if you do control it and put labels on it, you're going to have expectations and you're going to have a limited pathway. Yeah, and you're going to try to control that, and then the outcome that you're going to get, it's not going to be the outcome that you want, because it might not be the outcome that you need. Yeah, so allowing to let go and surrender and trust the process of your body, and really trust that your body understands what it needs, and the frequency will give it the message, and the body will respond to that without you controlling it with your head. You will be surprised what can happen. So this is the toughest thing to do in healing journey, is for you to get out of your freaking way.
Right.
Who wants to control? Yeah. So just explore, be a kid in a candy store and explore what happens. And then tell me what happens.
Absolutely. I will do that. I will definitely do this protocol and give you the feedback. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you so
We'd
much.
love to hear it. You're welcome,
Yeah.
Vicky. Thanks for
Thank
asking.
you.
Okay, I have 2 hands. I will do that really quickly. 5 minutes, you need to be fast. Taipan, let's try you. unmute you. You have to accept to unmute, and then you can ask your question. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I am actually very novice about this, but I have used it with my idea and all these things, and I have got wonderful results from this power of three. One of my friend's sister, she went to Australia, and she got COVID there detected, and she was returned. And in the morning, she was having temperature. I gave a program of Meridian 1 or 2, I don't remember exactly. She got the temperature remission, but her stomach got swelled and she was feeling acidity. And then I gave the power 3. You won't believe, by another 3-4 hours, she telephoned that all problems of that has gone. So I have used it without understanding with my sense, and I have used Zappa code also in many cases. I got wonderful result, but what you have been telling, actually most of the things are going out of my head, because I do not have that sort of knowledge, honestly speaking.
That's
but
okay.
I have got
And
wonderful results
you don't have to.
By
The
using my
programs will work either way.
intuition.
This is an advanced training, right? So we look at here how much more deeper we can go with the device of Healy. So at the beginning, even if you just apply normal programs with power of 3, and if you just do the protocol and do nothing else, you will see the results, as long as you detach and don't expect anything and you just observe what happens in the body, right? But that's okay. You just apply that on a physical level, it will still help, right? Frequency works. It doesn't really matter. It's been researched and it's been proven that it works. So it really doesn't matter. But I'm glad that you have these great results, and that's beautiful to hear, because we know Healy works. These trainings are literally just to actually give you an insight, an inspiration, to kind of challenge your brain to expand, to challenge your ego to kind of go out of the box, to try to see the world a bit differently, so you can actually start growing. Yeah, so you work on a physical level, then you bring things up and you build, and that's okay. Everybody is a different level, so there's no judgment on where you are. But I'm glad that it's actually working, and it's working beautifully, for you, for your friends and family. And that's what we want. Exactly
honestly speaking, I am 82 years old and I had a lot of problems. And just for about a year, I am using it. I'm completely changed. I could not believe that something like this can happen. But the thing is that I'm a bit confused. That what are the programs I can do, because I have to do in general, if you say at the beginning, the toxin removal program in gold cycle, and at the same time how I can match so many things, because this is a program, what you are talking of, power of 3 is a program for 3 weeks, something like that. So it has to be done separately along with this one. There's so many vibrations.
If you haven't gone to this protocol before, if you haven't done it, then I would use it separately without other programs. Yeah. If you want to add on Gold Cycle, you can, because Gold Cycles are beautiful systematic programs that are really, really gentle. But this is just an option, right? Healy has so many different options. So it comes down to you on what you want to focus in your own health and well-being journey. Yeah. And I always say, focus on one thing, either gut health or inflammation or detoxification, or looking at the nervous system. Focus on one thing, work with it for at least 3 months. Yeah, work with things so you can actually apply frequency long term, so you can actually get results. So don't be in a hurry. Yeah, Healy is for life. Seriously, you're gonna have this for life, so there's no hurry. The more you're going to do the foundations, the more you can build on those foundations. So no matter where you are, you need to start somewhere. So as long you can only start with scanning the programs and using those programs, and then the more you learn, the more you build that, the more you actually can integrate that into your life. But I'm glad that the power of 3 is working for you. That's beautiful to hear.
Thanks very much, because you said I have used my intuition, whether it is a stomach problem or what is. And I've got, in many cases, I've got very, very good results.
Yes, because it's a holistic the holistic programs that work on different levels in Power 3. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Taipan. I need to interrupt you because we have a Rashmi still, and then we need to finish because we are late. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you. And Rashmi, please.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to express my feelings.
You're welcome.
Thank you for throwing so much of light on, detailed info about a 9-week protocol. And though I'm very new to the Healy, just a month back, I received my device.
Welcome to the club. That's quite new. Okay.
So much. And yesterday I came to know, I just finished the gold cycle. That is for a week, and also with the pink hat now, that is also a gold cycle for a week almost. And yesterday only I came to know in detailed info about the aura. And today, though I'm from India, I know basic thing about the kapha, vata, and pitta, the 3 doshas. But today, how to use the device with those, in detailed info about power of 3 was really amazing. And my question is, as though I finished my gold cycle, can I switch on to this immediately, the power of 3?
I would go on a deep cycle first. Yeah. So I always say this throughout my journey, and I know you're new. I would encourage you, if you're not in our Facebook group, to actually join. So there's a link in a chat. You will find the Deep Cycle H protocol. Yeah. It's another protocol that you can go on to, and you can watch the whole training in our Facebook group under the guides section. Just find the Deep Cycle H, and you're going to have the whole protocol, the whole training, so you can actually look at it. It's the same we did today. It's just the different programs. But I really encourage everyone, all my team, that new and old, to actually start with Gold Cycle and then go on to Deep Cycle H.
Okay.
And after that, you can go on a Power 3 if you want to. Yeah. If you really want to actually look at and target the guts, you can do the Power 3. And then you can focus on either detoxification. There's a detoxification protocol in our Facebook group. You can focus on the gut. We're going to have the gut next week. And alongside of that, you can also scan your aura if you want to. Yeah. And you have in the group, you also have the coaching for the aura module. You have the training for the coaching module. So you can watch all the trainings. So you can actually go and look at things in depth. So if you want to do that. Yeah. So sometimes, as I said last week, with my own experience, sometimes when we actually get unwell in a physical body, yeah, sometimes it's not really the physical issue. Yeah, the physical can only be the symptom. It's like that was in my case, right? I was clearing out eons of trauma, yeah, from my throat chakra, and I was vibrating my aura and my coaching every 3 days. I changed the scan, and I've shifted really fast. So we need to understand that, all levels of our bodies, not body physically, yeah, energetic body, emotional body, mental body, etheric body, the physical body, they're all connected. Although they might not be tangible, they're still connected. So we need to understand, and this is why I'm doing this, is to widen and expand and stretch your brain in the way and your perspective of life. Yeah, so you can actually see and start integrating all of you, not just the physical part of you that you can touch, but all of you. Because when you start doing that, you will go around looking at life completely differently. And you're going to bring more compassion, not only to yourself, but others. You're going to understand people when they have triggers and they become angry and, things are not going as well as they would like. Yeah, you will not react. You will actually have compassion for them, because you will see them from a different perspective. So I want to see more compassion and love in the world. And I'm doing this on myself because of that, because I feel like we need that in the world. Yeah. And I think everybody feels better when we actually have more love and compassion in the world, and we have more connection. So, and we are all a part of the same tree. Yeah. Because we are kind of here. So, and we are all souls and energy. And I really want you to understand that if you work on your energetic body, your physical body will work too. Yeah, and vice versa. But today I will finish with this, yeah, because we've been long. But if there's any questions, please do. Thank you, Rashmi, for sharing that and asking. But if there is any questions, always welcome to ask in the group. But for tonight, I will say thank you to everyone. Thank you to Jeffrey and Marie-Louise for actually sharing your experience. So grateful that you came tonight. And you will get all the details and information in the group. Yeah, and of course through the email if you need it as well. Thank you to everyone. Enjoy your night, and I'll see you next week for the gut session. Have a great night and day. Bye-bye.